welcome to this talk show, Anna. And this is the episode 2 with you. And I'm very happy and glad to have you with us once again. And Anna, your contribution to the life transformation for people by your main expertise, I can say breathwork and ice bath is really outstanding. You are changing and transforming people every day. And that is something, outstanding contribution you are doing for the society, for the humanity. So I really appreciate and I'm very happy and blessed to have you in this my second episode today. And last episode was one of the very, very good episode and people really liked it. People really got so much information from your side. This time, everyone, the talk show is very, very interesting. That's called the science behind of the ice bath and breathwork. So if I'm talking about the science, so one person is the right person to give answer on that. That's called the Anna today, because there are so many people are talking about breathwork and ice bath, and so many people are afraid how we can start ice bath, how we can do breathwork. So why is important for our body? Why is important for our emotion, for our nervous system? So everything definitely Anna is going to cover. So Anna, I'm going to start with my multiple interesting questions. I'm sure you will love it to have an answer on that. So first of all, welcome Anna in this talk show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy and so grateful to be here and to be back again and talk about the two things that I love the most, breathwork and ice bath, and kind of share a little bit of how to get started in this practice, because it can feel a little bit scary and intimidating and hard, but we'll talk about some of the benefits as well. And so why it might be worth pushing through the scary and the fear and the hardness of it so you can receive the benefits of the practice.
Wonderful, Anna. Anna, recently I just saw you are one of the initiative 5 a.m. club. So, but I would like to know what is this interesting 5 a.m. club? Could you tell something about it, please?
Yes. So we meet one day a week for 5 weeks in a row, and we meet on Monday morning. And so a lot of times people feel like, oh, Monday and I have to go back to work, and they just feel bothered by that. And that feels so fun on the weekends. And then it's like when Monday comes, this kind of gloomy feeling. So the concept behind this is to look forward to something about Monday, but something that's a practice to start that will set your whole week up off on the right foot. And so feeling really good. So we do 10 minutes of meditation and 10 minutes of breath work. And then we go for a 35-minute hike. So it's 55 minutes and everyone's ready to go to work then after that, just under 1 hour, really energized and ready for the day and very focused. So this is my third time to do this now. And people come out of this saying, I feel like I have more time every day. And I feel like starting my week in community, we have, I think, 20 people signed up. And starting my week in community and with people who are interested in meditation and raising, their vibration and their awareness is just so nourishing for them.
Wow, that's so crazy, Anna. And I can totally relate that because, somewhere morning practice is also part of the spiritual practice too, so your energy also heal more in a different manner, in a different way. So, you can recharge your body so much, 10x, I can say. So,
yes.
So if because I'm also coaching with so many people, and there are, because when I coach people, so obviously when I talked about the ice bath especially, right? So obviously there is a confusion between people here, right? So they think about if we will have ice bath, so we will will get cold or fever or like that. So could you explain, is it true, or how, if not true, so how it could be the manageable things?
Yeah, so let's talk about this. So I think that humans have a long-standing fear of the cold, and it's for a very good reason. For a long part of our existence as humans, if we found ourselves in the cold for too long, then it meant something, hypothermia. And hypothermia is still a real thing, but I like to equate the experience of an ice bath kind of like going to the gym. And so we would never think like, oh, if I go to the gym, this is bad stress for my body. But we think going into the ice and we're like, oh, this is bad stress, but it's just like going to the gym. It's just like working out. It's a stress for the body, but it's actually a good stress. And in fact, it can actually boost your immune system. It can help you lose weight by activating brown fat in the body. It can actually help you get better sleep. Um, it can help you feel more awake and more productive during the day because you get more adrenaline and more testosterone and more cortisol. A lot of people think that, like, why would I want more adrenaline or why would I want more cortisol? Like, aren't those bad? But actually, they're cues in the body for focus and for wakefulness. And so you're actually more productive by starting your day with an ice bath.
Mhm. So that's a really very, very, good answer and very, very useful and helpful for people because, people are sometimes very confused for that. So if we are talking about Anna, because I can say I'm also following you so much on ice bath and breath work. And if I can say, after Wim Hof, Wim Hof, that academy, if I can say one of the best thing, who is doing that,
Mhm.
so that is the thing because I follow so many, people, those are actually having ice bath and breath work in this industry. But the fact is that what you are doing for the ice bath and breathwork science, that is something very scientific, very logical, and very sensible. So
Thank
that's
you.
why I just thought to, set up this talk show so that people should know about the science behind of it. You are
Yes.
doing, but how? So my question, Anna, to you is, how a person during the practice can sync breath work with ice bath, or ice bath is first activity or breath work is first activity?
So this is a really great and really important question. So I think a lot of people, it feels kind of scary to do an ice bath because they're like, oh, then I'm just going to be cold forever and I'm just going to be in there and it's going to be so horrible and I'm going to shiver. But actually, so we start with the breath work. And what happens when you're doing the breath work is it's a vasodilation. So basically what that means is all of kind of the veins in the body, they get a little bit bigger and they allow for more blood to flow through the body. And so when this is happening, it gives us this sensation. We don't normally breathe, the rest of the day the same way that we do in breath work. Breath is different. And so it's kind of like a super ventilation. And it's kind of like a workout for your lungs, actually. And so it feels different in the body. It feels like, do you know the Incredible Hulk? It's like this big, green, muscly, giant kind of mythical creature. So when you do breath work, you kind of have this feeling in the body of like heat and energy. And because of this vasodilation, because the blood flow is happening. So we do that first. And then we go from the breath work into the ice bath. And we get in the ice bath, the opposite thing happens, and we have vasoconstriction. And so all of the veins in the body kind of get smaller and tighter. And the focus of the body is to protect all of the important vital organs, which are mostly, here in our top half of our body, our heart, our lungs. And so this is also where we have something that's called brown fat. Brown fat is called brown because it's rich in mitochondria. And brown fat is really interesting because, we hear the word fat and we think like, oh, it's bad and we don't want that. But we actually do want brown fat because it's thermoregulation. So basically what that means is it helps us regulate the temperature of our body and how comfortable we feel. And brown fat actually burns white fat. So the more brown fat that you have, the more kinds of experiences that you can do where you put yourself in hot or cold will create more brown fat in the body.
Very nice, very good, and very insightful answer. Because the fact is that breath work and ice bath. Sometime, but I feel it's a game of the temperature of your body too. Because sometimes it's the opposite temperature. So when you are having breath work before ice bath, so your body will perform differently. When you are sometimes most of people are obviously they are having ice bath and breath work without any mentorship or without any guidance. So sometimes they are doing very wrong. That's why, people, I would suggest you please have wonderful session on this with Anna personally, private coaching as well, so that you can get more clarity on ice bath and breath work. And what I feel, because I am having this experience, Anna, from India here as well, but I feel there are 70% of, you can say, your disease will automatically remove from your life,
Mm.
right? And you will feel you will live a healthy life. And definitely very basic things like viral fever, cold, definitely it will be not part of your life if we will start this thing, but I will believe personally. So Anna, ice bath, uh, how many times is required in a week for a person?
Such a good question. So I love it. So I do it every day, but you don't have to do it every day. So the science right now says that about 11 minutes per week is the goal. And you could break that up into maybe 2, 3, or 4 sessions. So maybe if you decide that you just want to do it 2 times a week, you goal for the goal of 6 minutes per time. I like to tell everybody, for the first time that you do an ice bath, imagine that this is your first time you're going to the gym. And the first time that you're going to the gym, you don't go in there and load the barbell up, with the 500 pounds or kilos. You start with something really small. And so the first time that you go into an ice bath, you just make a goal of 2 minutes. And then one of the other questions that people always want to know is like, well, how cold does it really have to be? And the answer is cold enough to make you want to get out. So you shouldn't feel like, oh, this is so cozy and I could stay in here forever. It's basically, a bath. That's not the way you want to feel. You want to feel like, wow, this is very cold and I really want to get out, but know that you can stay in safely. So the body will give you a reaction. And this is a time when you have to learn how to quiet the noise in the mind, because the mind will say like, oh, this is so dangerous. You have to get out. Oh my gosh, what if your fingers fall off or something? And all of these kind of negative thoughts can come to the mind. And so we have to learn to kind of put the mind on ice as well, because the mind will be on fire with all of these questions, in the same way that you watch a campfire, and it's just like all of these flickering. The mind will do this with the questions and the how long do I have to stay in there, and this feels terrible, and all of these things. And so we just kind of have to put the mind on ice, and that's when we find that kind of crystal clarity feeling. And so we can do that by helping us to control and take back control of the breath when we're in the ice. So a lot of times when I see people get into the ice first, it's like it takes your breath away. So it's, and this like big reaction, and it feels like you can't breathe almost. But it just feels like it takes your breath away. And so I just tell them, let it take your breath away. We just probably did breath work for 30 minutes. You've done enough breathing for a bit. If it takes your breath away, it's fine for a few seconds. And then we focus on the exhale. So we imagine like a tiny little straw from the mouth, and we just try to make the exhale a little bit slower. And then we can keep the inhale like with a double inhale. It's called the physiological sigh, and it's one of the quickest ways to calm the body down. So we can practice it now, and people who are watching can practice along with us. So it's you inhale twice and then you exhale nice and long. So and that's a particularly helpful one because so many of the people, their first few times in the ice bath, are already kind of gasping for air. So the body kind of intuitively knows to do this. So it's working with the body's natural rhythms.
So wonderful, wonderful, and the method you shared, that is something very helpful, because people should know about the right method, and that's why Anna, you are the super in this, because you obviously always explain the method also during the talk shows, and that is what I love as well. So Anna, when we talked about the obviously ice bath, so there is another myth in so many people's mind, our blood pressure, especially our blood pressure during ice bath, will go down,
Right.
or it will go up. So what is your opinion on that, and how if it's going down or freezing in ice bath during ice bath, that your blood pressure, so how we control that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So during the breath work, because of the vasodilation and because everything's kind of open and more flowing, then you can notice the blood pressure going down. And then in the ice bath experience, for some people, they might notice because of the vasoconstriction, there's like a rise in the heart rate for sure. And it is definitely a little bit of a stress in the body, and it can make the blood pressure go up for a time. So that is something that people need to be cognizant and aware of. Is one of the contraindications is if they have high blood pressure that's not being treated by medication, then to ease their way into this kind of a practice rather than just jumping in. So a great way to do that is if you get like a bowl and you just put like a kitchen bowl, and you put a little bit of water or a little bit of ice, and then you can just do your face in the morning. And one thing that's really great about this is when you dunk your face, it stimulates the vagus nerve and the dive reflex, and that will actually help to lower your blood pressure. Yeah, so it's really good. Also, because when you do the skin, it releases collagen in the skin as well. So it helps to keep your face looking really young and bright and youthful. And so doing the face is a great way to kind of start the practice. Another option for people is if you want to like just do your hands or just do your feet or something like that, and to start kind of small and work their way up.
So is there any risk factor also for new people to have ice bath without breathwork?
Is there any, sorry, say it again?
So is there any risk as
Risk.
well? Yeah, for new people without breathwork directly having ice bath?
Yeah. So what I would recommend your first time is to go do it with a group, or, even like I've done virtual experiences with people, with somebody that can kind of hold your hand through the experience. The one contraindication that people need to be aware of is if they have high blood pressure that's not being treated somehow. There are a few other things, like some people, if they have really severe Raynaud's syndrome, then they might want to start small again, and kind of work their way up. I had a client one time who he was in the military, and he had like a traumatizing experience in the military from ice water. And so he kind of like disassociated in the moment and went back to that like hypothermic response, like almost immediately. But he knew that that was going to happen. And actually, we had a conversation about it beforehand. And so he was ready to overcome that. And so I think one of the pieces of the puzzle in doing this safely and effectively is understanding kind of what might come up for you, but then also being willing to release those ideas and expectations and being willing to try. I think one thing that's important is that I love to talk about the science because I love science. But at the end of the day, what really matters is your personal experience in the ice. And so when we have these numbers, and I'm throwing them around of like, oh, you're going to get a 530% increase in adrenaline, you're going to get a 230% increase in dopamine, and that's just like as much as cocaine, and it's better, and then, it's like all these numbers, and these are averages from a large study group and different studies that have happened. And that might not be your personal experience. Maybe your personal experience is that you don't need to stay in for 11 minutes per week. Maybe you find that you need to stay in for 15, or maybe you find that you need to stay in for 8. And so it's a great practice in learning how to listen to the body. And so rather than really being so focused on the numbers and the data and the science, is to tune in to the body and to ask the body questions along the way. And so one way that I really think is important to do this is, rather than setting a timer and say, oh, I have to do my goal of 11 minutes this week on the day you're going in, just say, well, I feel in my body today that I'm going to overcome resistance. And resistance in this case could be maybe getting in and you don't feel like you want to get in, or staying in. It's like, okay, it's really cold and I want to get out. And so not just meeting that wall, but feeling that resistance, and then choosing to go to the other side of those places where you are hearing a no, oh my gosh, I don't want to do this. So deciding before you have this practice what the body is ready and receptive for. So like when I do my ice bath every morning, I don't usually set a timer. I just kind of tune in to the body and see what it feels like I want that day, or what my goal is. And sometimes my goal is I just want to sit here and I want to notice my breath. And sometimes my goal is like, I'm going to stay moving the whole time I'm in the ice. And so just to see what the body is asking for, rather than paying attention to the clock.
Wonderful, wonderful. Very nice. And definitely, I can also see the result, because you are the role model for this, for others as well. You are the inspiration for people, because when you first start with yourself, this all practice and the science, that's how you are, explaining so well with us in this talk show, Anna. So definitely, there are so many coaches, also that, they talked about the 5 a.m., wake up morning 5 a.m. and 4 a.m. But actually they are waking up at 9 o'clock and talking about 5 a.m. But the thing is that what is a good thing in you, Anna? You are doing yourself first. That's how you are generating impact in the society. And this is what I love personally, because, the science you are talking about, you are executing that science in your self-transformation first. Right? That's how a coach actually works. That's how a coach actually generating the impact for the society. So, Anna, obviously it's not related with the question ice bath and the breath work, but would like to understand how meditation, is connected with ice bath and very effective as well. How? Please share with us.
Yeah, I love this question. Thank you so much for asking this. So I actually, I teach breathwork. This is my main modality, is breathwork. I am a breathwork life coach. I don't just do breathwork with my clients, but I do a lot of breathwork with my clients. And I have, a very strong and robust practice of my own of breathwork. I always say, I don't often do breath work for more than 5 minutes, but I never go more than 5 minutes without doing breath work. And I like to think the same of meditation also. You don't have to sit down and do 2 hours of meditation. That's great if you do, and it's a wonderful habit and practice to be in, but that's not necessarily sustainable for everyone. And so, what we're looking for is how to bring mindfulness and how to bring meditation into every area of your life. So, can I make doing the dishes a meditation and a mindful experience? So, breath work is, I kind of like to say that it's like meditation on a freight train. So, it's like a faster way of getting to wherever it is that you're going. Um, and then the breath work practice is a way to become more aware and to
Mhm.
also learn how to live in the present moment. So, through meditation, what we're really doing is kind of releasing and letting go this wishing and wanting for things to be different. And so, even, I use the example of it being in the gym, and you're doing this workout and it's really hard. And you're like, oh, I just can't wait for this to be over. Well, what meditation would teach us is in that moment to be grateful for where you are and what I can pay for a gym membership. I have a body that is capable of moving, and to have the awareness to have the gratitude. And so that's one of the things that I love about meditation is it teaches us to in the moment just be grateful and to be in the moment and not wishing for things to be different or for it to be over. And so this is something that's so key in the ice bath practice is because there's nothing that will really just bring you to the present moment like being in an ice bath. You're not thinking about anything else, you're not anywhere else. But so very often we find ourselves just like, oh, how much time do I have left? How much longer do I have to be in here? And wanting and wishing for it to be over and to not, I don't want to be cold anymore. And it's too hard and the water's too cold. And we start to kind of take it almost personally. And
Mhm.
so the meditation aspect and practice, and what I do most mornings actually is I would say maybe 1 or 2 days a week, I'll do a breathwork practice before my ice bath. And then the rest of the mornings, I will do a meditation practice before my ice bath. And so then it's teaching my body to go into the ice with this feeling of um, not wishing for it to be different
Mhm.
and to be willing and ready and receptive for whatever it is that comes in the ice and to just teach myself to enjoy things even when they're really hard.
Superb, superb, superb. And I'm sure, Anna, this answer is very, very helpful for people. Those are actually thinking about the connection between the meditation or ice bath, and because obviously people are much aware about the connection between the breath work and meditation, but there are very few people are aware about the connection between the ice bath and the meditation. And how spiritually we can, grow ourselves, in our transformation journey. That is also important to understand it, and that you explained very well, very well. So, Anna, thank you so much, for the wonderful answers. One thing before, because I'm wishing we should have very big time, but yeah. So I personally feel our episodes it's very helpful for people, and we will keep our talk shows in episodes so that people get to have more information by topics to topics, and they can connect to you directly if they want one-on-one coaching, everyone. So I will share the link of book now of Anna directly. You can connect, you can have a great session with Anna, one-on-one private coaching, and she is also capable and willing to transform your life from 0 to 100. So the thing is that, Anna, one good thing you like about our talk show, because your second experience today. One good
Mm.
thing you personally feel about.
Yeah, thank you for this question. I was excited and really looking forward to coming back today. You have such a great energy and you ask such great questions. And I know that you have a really active and captive audience who's really eager to learn. And I can tell that, of course, from your Facebook and seeing all of the amazing connections that you have, but because of so insightful questions that you ask, that I know your audience is so excited and eager to learn. So that's always really exciting being part of this, is with people who are really ready and receptive for this kind of information.
So, thank you so much, Anna, for your really kind words. And I personally believe everyone, Anna is one of the perfect coach for you if you are looking really expert for the breathwork and the ice therapy, ice bath. Because I had myself, a great experience with Anna. I had already accessed so much content, and it's a very, very sensible and scientific as well. And I suggest to every viewer, those are watching this talk show, always go with mentors. Those are really aware about the scientific method behind of any approach. So scientific method awareness is very important to have any approach. Never go blindly to have just you are having breathing blindly, even don't know about the science about it. So that is a good part with Anna. She will provide you scientific reasons as well why you are doing this thing, when you should do this thing. So yeah, I will share this link as well. And thank you so much, Anna, for coming this talk show. Your presence always make me so happy, so positive. And today is the best day, Friday, and the weekend are also going to start. So this is the great start for me to start my weekend with your talk show. So yeah, really thank you so much for your kind words, for your humanity as well. And very soon, everyone, me and Anna will come with a program that will be very exclusive, designed for global people. Those are in India also would like to have sessions with Anna globally, ice bath therapy or breathing therapy or any kind of the sessions. So definitely we'll share that shortly, so you can have one-on-one private meeting as well. Thank you so much, Anna, and really our pleasure to have you today. Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you so much.
And have a great weekend, Anna. Thank you.
You too.